sunny Wednesday morning here in the southeast in northwest Georgia. And we had a line of strong storms come through the south last night. A lot of wind damage, heavy rains. A lot of power outages here in our area today. So I appreciate all the guys at Georgia Power that are out there working and have been working around the clock to get power back on. We've got power here in the office, so we're good today to have this live. I was getting kind of nervous about whether we were going to be able to have it today or not after I posted it. But I'm glad that we're able to, and glad you're here joining me. I got my coffee here, and I'm ready to tackle today's topic. A lot of people come into the office and they ask me, well, why am I this way? Or why are whoever they're concerned about this way? Why do people act the way they do, right? And I've spent most of my life studying people, studying behavior, studying how the brain works, studying how to best communicate with ourselves and with others. And one thing that I've learned over the years is there are at least four, there's a lot more than four, but there are four universal laws when it comes to how people act and why people act the way they do. That first law is everyone is suffering and insecure. Everyone that you meet out there is suffering from something. They're dealing with something. They have something in their life that's causing a challenge for them to deal with. And they are suffering and they're insecure. And everyone has insecurities about something. Even the most stoic, strong person that you meet has some underlying insecurities in their life. And then the second law is everyone is wearing a mask. Everyone has on a mask so that they're not revealing their true selves in certain situations. And those masks, we wear different masks all the time, and they're interchangeable. We wear certain masks when we're around certain groups of people. We wear other masks when we're with other people. And so everyone is wearing a mask. And then law 3 is everyone pretends we're not wearing the mask. Everyone pretends we're not wearing the mask. And that's what we're going to look at today and dive a little deeper into, is the fact that everyone out there is wearing a mask and everyone out there is pretending that we don't wear that mask. And then the fourth law is that we are all a product of childhood suffering or reward. So everything that we are comes from things that we've experienced in our childhood. 90% of the behaviors that we present toward other people, those behaviors are solidified by the time you're 12 years old. So 90% of how you act has been programmed into you by the time you're 12. But I want to go back to that law number 3 today and talk to you for just a few minutes and dig a little deeper on that law, that everyone pretends we're not wearing the masks. And just so we can kind of understand where I'm coming from, you wouldn't walk into a room and just immediately announce to everybody, hey, guess what? I just want you to know that I'm pretending to be more confident than I actually am right now. I mean, you're going to get some looks. People will be looking at you like you've lost your mind because that's not how we operate. We all pretend that we're not wearing those masks, even though we do. We act like we're showing up to everything as our true selves, but really beneath the surface, we carefully curate exactly how we present ourselves to the world. We emphasize certain traits, we suppress others, we wear these different masks depending on the different situations that we're in. And that's not always a bad thing. So don't misunderstand me here. Just because we pretend we're not wearing the mask, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. The problem is not that we're wearing the mask. It's when we've forgotten that we're wearing them. It's when we've convinced ourselves that these carefully crafted identities that we're presenting to everyone else is who we truly are. But what happens when these masks become too heavy for us to carry? What happens when we start to forget who's actually underneath these masks? So that's what I want this video to do today, is to dive a little deeper and to look at why we wear the masks, how we use those masks to shape our interactions with others, and what happens when we finally take them off. So let's dig in. Why do we wear the mask? Why do we have this need to wear that mask? Well, from an early age, we are taught which emotions and behaviors are acceptable, right? Which ones aren't. At home, we learn what gets us praise and we learn what gets us in trouble. At school, we're always trying to navigate those waters of which behaviors make us fit in and which ones make us stand out, and when we want which one of those to be the thing. Sometimes we want to stand out, sometimes we want to fit in. And so we have different masks that we wear in each of those situations. In our relationships, we navigate the parts of ourselves that feel safe in order to express, and which parts of ourselves feel too risky to share with others. And like I said, there's nothing necessarily wrong with these masks, but over time, we develop a social survival strategy. And we put these masks on, and it allows us to function in all of the different environments that we experience throughout the day. This is why you don't act the same around your boss or supervisor as you do around your closest best friend. You just naturally adjust your presentation based on the situation. And again, this is not inherently bad. In fact, some degree of these masks that we wear is necessary. Necessary for us to function as a society. So the problem comes when we become so identified with the masks that we lose touch with who we really are. We lose touch with our real selves. So let's look at the different masks that we wear. Not all masks are the same, but they all serve a similar purpose. They serve to protect us, to allow us to hide, to manipulate other people's perceptions of us. And some of the more common ones that I see coming through my door to sit in my chair here and to see if we can begin to help them change. One of the most common ones I see is the confident performer. This mask that they wear, they come in, I have it all together, you know. And if they had it all together, they probably wouldn't be sitting in my chair. But they wear this mask and they begin to believe this mask that they're wearing. And people that I wear this mask a lot of times too. And with this mask, we present ourselves as confident, as competent, as unfazed by any challenges we face, but deep inside, there are feelings of insecurity. Remember that first law we talked about? Everyone's suffering and everyone is insecure about something. And they're afraid of being exposed as a fraud. I've done a video on imposter syndrome before and what it is and how to overcome that. But the reason that happens, that imposter syndrome takes effect, is because we believe the identity of this mask that we're wearing. And it's common among high achievers. It's common among perfectionists. It's common among leaders that believe they always have to project strength. And so they're always looking to blame anything and everything other than themselves. Another mask that a lot of people wear is that people pleaser mask. We've all worn this mask at some time in our life. And this mask says that I'm easygoing, I'm agreeable. And with this mask, when you're wearing it, you're going to avoid conflict at all cost. You're not going to address any situation that is harmful for the environment that you're in, because you've got to appease everyone. And this mask is one of those that causes you to suppress your own needs and suppress your opinions just so you can keep everyone else around you happy. And here's a little secret. You're not going to accomplish it. They're not going to be happy, and ultimately you are not going to be happy if you buy into this identity of this mask. And this mask is usually worn by those of us that fear rejection, or those of us that have been conditioned to prioritize everyone else over themselves. And then another mask that is very common that I see a lot of times is this stoic and unemotional mask. This is a mask that says, nothing bothers me. And you refuse to show any vulnerability, any emotion. You suppress your emotions. You're believing that emotions are a sign of weakness. And this mask is usually common in environments where emotional expression is discouraged or seen as a liability, and especially in a lot of the men and brotherhood and masculinity things that are going on out there that generally promote the toxic masculinity that we're talking about. Now, there's nothing toxic about real masculinity, but there is a toxic masculinity, and usually this stoic, emotionless thing, and that's not even what the Stoics were all about. So it's been, the name or the word stoic has been hijacked and misused for years. But this mask is common in those type of environments. And then the fourth mask that we're looking at today is the victim mask. And a lot of people wear this mask. This mask is one where everyone says everything is happening to me. It's all happening to me. It's always coming down on me. It's always focused on me. Why is all of this happening to me? And I think about in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, where Israel, Jacob, is there, and his Joseph has been gone. He's been living in Egypt for all of those years, and they're in the famine. He sends the boys in to get corn because he knows that in Egypt they have the supplies they need, and they didn't realize that it was Joseph there, and he tells them they have to leave the youngest brother with him. They go back to tell their daddy, and the phrase that he makes in that statement, it just sticks with me and stands out. I've preached sermons on this several times, but Jacob makes this statement, all these things are against me. And he's wearing the victim mask there. And when you wear this mask, you lean into the struggle and the hardship. And it becomes a part of your identity. You're using suffering as a way to get validation or attention. And it doesn't take long. All you got to do is scroll through your social media feed and you can spot the folks wearing this mask pretty quickly and usually fairly easily. This mask can develop from real trauma, but it becomes problematic when it prevents you from growing or healing. And there are people on social media that I have offered to help several times and they just keep refusing any help that I offer. So they're wearing this mask. They're wearing this mask because it gets them attention, it gets them validation. They don't want the help. And this mask is actually preventing them from growing or healing. And then you've got the tough guy mask or the tough girl mask. This mask says, I don't need you. I don't need anybody. I'm a self-made man. I'm a self-made woman. I don't need you. And you project strength through this mask. You project dominance through this mask. Or you detach yourself from anything that could cause you to be viewed otherwise. And you push people away before they even have a chance to hurt you. And this mask is a defense mechanism. It's for those that have been let down or betrayed in the past. And so that's some of the masks that we wear, some of the most common masks that we wear. And again, there is nothing wrong with actually wearing these masks. It's when we forget that we're wearing them. And over time, these masks can become part of your default identity. You start believing that you really are the confident performer even when you feel uncertain. You convince yourself that being a people pleaser is your personality, even if it wears you out and exhausts you. You lose sight of what emotions feel. You lose sight of what they feel like, that authentic feeling, because you've numbed yourself to these emotions for so long. And the longer you wear these masks, the more difficult it becomes to take them off. Because what if people don't like the real you? What if you take the mask off and you don't even recognize what's underneath? And that's the real fear that most people have. It's not the mask itself, but it's what happens when those masks are gone. Who am I? Who am I really? Who am I going to be if I take these masks off? But taking the mask off is the path to your true authenticity. The good news is you don't have to rip the mask off overnight, but you need to start recognizing that you're wearing it. And you do that by identifying which mask you're wearing at any certain time. Ask yourself, what version of myself do I present to different people? And if you've got a notebook, I keep a pocket notebook with me all the time. I keep this larger notebook here that I've done a video on how I use this for my unconscious mind to get in there with free writing and automated writing. And I've done a video on that before too, so you may want to find it on here. But you've got to start asking yourself these questions. What version of myself do I present to the different people, the different situations? And take some time to figure that out. Sit down with that pen and paper and go through your day and the different situations you're in, everyone that you interact with, and think about the masks that you're wearing. And then ask yourself, are there parts of me that I feel like I have to hide? Are there parts of you that you feel like you can't present to other people in certain situations? And then ask, well, what am I afraid of? What am I afraid is going to happen if I show up as my full, unfiltered self? And the first step to change is awareness. You've got to be aware of the mask that you're wearing in the different situations. And then you've got to get comfortable with being vulnerable. Taking these masks off and being seen fully, that's going to feel uncomfortable, especially at first. But it's important, and it needs to be done if you want to build true relationships and build a life that actually feels aligned with who you are. So start small. Again, you don't have to rip it off all at once. You don't have to make any big announcements. You can start small and express yourself. Express an honest thought that you normally hold in. And admit when you don't have all the answers, because none of us do. We don't have all the answers. Let people see your uncertainty. I don't know is a complete sentence. And it's good to acknowledge that we don't have all the answers, and to admit that to other people in our lives. And let people see your uncertainty without you trying to cover it up or overcompensating for it. And then we got to redefine strength. A lot of us wear these masks because we feel like they make us stronger, but real strength is not about pretending to have it all together. It's about knowing who you are without any external validation. It's about standing strong in your boundaries and values. Setting some boundaries and then standing in them. And then it's about being comfortable in your own skin, even when others don't approve. And then you've got to recognize when the masks are actually useful. Again, not all masks or wearing the mask are bad. Sometimes it serves a purpose. A leader in certain situations may need to project confidence to inspire trust in those that are following him. A therapist or a counselor may need to remain calm and collected in order to help a client that's going through some serious emotional crises and not allowing us to project those emotions back to them. A parent may need to put on a brave face for a child in order to help keep them from shifting into panic mode. And so not all masks are bad. Some masks are useful. The key is knowing when the mask is going to be helpful and when it's hiding. Are you using the mask to protect others or to hide from yourself? And then surround yourself with people that accept you for who you are. Accept the real you. Not everyone is going to be comfortable when you take the mask off. Some people liked the version of you that always said yes. Some people like the version of you that always played strong. Some people like the version of you that always kept the peace. But you're going to have to let them go. If that's all you were to them, then it's time to let them go. My word for the year is jettison. And I've been jettisoning a lot of people that have been in my life for far too long. I've been jettisoning a lot of ideas and thoughts that I've held for years. It's time to jettison the masks too. And it's going to make some people uncomfortable. And if they can't accept you for who you really are, then it's time to let them go and find people that make you feel safe enough to be real. Those are the ones that's worth keeping. So as we close out today's video, I hope this has encouraged you to begin to live mask-free. We all wear these masks. The masks are not the issue. The issue is when we forget we're wearing the masks and we mistake the masks for our true identity. So take a moment. Ask yourself, what masks have I been wearing? What masks am I presenting to others? What parts of myself have I hidden in order to fit in or to avoid conflict? Who am I really? Really, who am I underneath all of this? Because at the end of the day, authenticity is freedom. If you want to feel freer, if you want to be free, then the sooner you recognize this mask that you're wearing, or these masks that you're wearing, the sooner you can decide when to take it off. I hope this video has been helpful today. I hope that you find it useful. Leave me a comment, a like. Let me know if there's any other topics you want me to cover. I've got an idea for my next video, probably Friday morning, about the same time, as we're going to look at a very honest mindful meditation exercise. So you're not going to want to miss that one. Tune in and check it out, because we're going to approach it away from all of the woo-woo and the emptying your mind and all of this fluff that's out there about meditation. And we're going to look at a possibly humorous, for some people, honest meditation exercise. So I hope you can join me for that Friday. Again, thank you for joining me, and we'll see you later in the next video.